Hello guys, good afternoon. JRS Kick One here. I was going to do a short video of something a lot of farms have, and you may not even know you have it. It's coccidiosis. It's a type of worm, and there'll be people that are much well trained to explain what it is. But if you look it up, it's a type of worm, but you can't treat it with the regular wormers. And it will do a number on your herd without, it will kill, but usually it just makes little sheep, mini sheep. They just never grow. They just stay small their whole life. And I'm going to show you an example of that. I have one that I can really show the difference in how it looks. And so I was going to bring that to your attention. Usually it is, I got to find both of them. But the best way the shepherd can, there it is right there, I see one. The best way the shepherd can see, and I will, at the end of this video, I'll show you what medicines you use for it, because it's not your cydectin and valbazin and all those used for regular worms. This is totally different, but until you get a hold of it, it will kill your profit margin, because the lambs, you can have a year-old that's 60 pounds, and that's if you hear people talking about, oh, I have mini sheep, or I have dwarf sheep, or I have da-da. No, it's just coccidiosis when they were young and they never grew. And you have to get a handle on it when they're young. Today we're going to be looking at this brown ewe here that's about 6 weeks, right behind that white one, and this brown ewe laying down right here. The brown ewe laying down I think has coccidiosis, and the one standing up doesn't. Okay, and so I'll explain what I'm looking for and what I see and what I'm watching for. And this first one, you'll just see it looks like a normal lamb. Let me show you this one because the sun's on this one. They're about 6 weeks old, so they should look like a sheep, just in a smaller form. Their belly shouldn't be bloated. They should have good form on their legs, like the meat should go all the way up their legs to their body. On both of these here, that they should just be, they should look like a little sheep. And I'll explain the difference in just a second. But that is just a growing sheep. If that sheep right there was to get bloated or something like that, I would know. I'm feeding them grain in the grain feeder, so I would know that was probably it. But it's a 6-week-old sheep, and so this one and the one I'm about to show you are the same age, so they should be the same size. So as a shepherd, when you look at your lambs, you should be able to go, that one should be keeping up with that one. If it's not, then the mom's not producing enough milk, which needs to be taken into account for the next year, whether she's old or young or whatever, or it's fighting something on the inside of it that it needs help with. And being the winter, we do have worms. People that say we don't have worms in the winter anymore are crazy, because you have to fight worms in the winter. And when I first started sheep, it was more of a summer thing, but the worms are getting to where they can last longer. But coccidiosis is something different. We all have it on our farms. You just don't bring it in. It's just in the land. Your vets will tell you that. I do not recommend going to vets, and that's just me. And this would be a good time disclaimer to say I am just giving you advice that I do on my farm. I'm not telling you to do it on your farm. I just do it here, and there's not much out there in the way of sheep to help people. It's kind of like figure it out by losing them until you learn yourself. And so everything I'm telling you today, I've already learned the hard way. But I do not believe in vets, and quick reason why that is a lot of them, and I love vets, I have friends that are vets, but they're trained in big animals, as in cows or horses, or small animals, sheep and dogs, and dogs and cats. And so when you ask them about sheep, they are more than likely guessing the same way you would. I mean, they're taking their training and guessing, okay, it's worms. Well, it could be this worm, this worm, this worm. Well, yes, I know that too. And they're going to say, well, we can treat it with this and this, and we'll see if we can do it the same thing you can do. And then they charge you $100, $150, and that's not what the animal's worth to begin with. So it's the difference between a hobby farm and a productive farm. A productive farm, unless you have a vet that understands what you are and is willing to charge those rates, you can't afford it. It's better to put the lamb down or the sheep down than it is to call a vet. But that's just on my rant. Okay, let's come look at this one. Not mini me, that one was born a couple days ago. All right, go get out of my picture. Look at this ewe. Okay, let's see. Little girl. She's the same age. Look at her legs. Look at her front legs and her back legs, how there's no meat on them. It just goes up, goes from leg to body. And then look how her little belly's pot-bellied. Y'all move. See how her belly's pot-bellied? And I'll try to get closer without her running off. Okay, now I know, being the shepherd, that they both had a brother. Both of these ewes I'm comparing, I weaned them both off at the same time. They both went to their new home last weekend, so day before yesterday. So these ewes should have plenty of milk. They have plenty of milk. A good example of what ewes should look like. This mama has these, oh, sorry, these twin little girls. Aren't they gorgeous? Dang it. They were spoken for fast. But see that pot belly? See the no meat on the legs, how it just kind of goes up to a body. And now if I don't treat that lamb will never grow. It won't die. It won't die. It won't even get diarrhea. It won't, in the summer, what usually kills the coccidiosis lamb is a whammy on a second front. It'll get a different kind of worms. And the two together will take it down. And this is a good example of, she's just wormy. I wormed her yesterday. If you're going, well, he can't even talk. He has a wormy. I know she's wormy, and I wormed her. She's raising twin boys that are dragging her down, but she's doing fine. But the thing about being a shepherd is knowing the sheep. Knowing, I mean, why is she so skinny and these two ewes are so big? And now I know she has twins, but still her body's not fighting the worms as good as these others, and so she'll be cold out. But she was a really good mom, and she's raising two big old boys. I wish they'd run up here to her. I'll show you. She's doing great on her babies. She just needs a little bit of help. The babies have learned the creek feeder. They're doing great. Everybody probably over the age of a week goes in there and eats. There's fresh hay, and there's feed in the thing for 24 hours. And that's how you'll know if you have worms and stuff, is they overeat, it seems, if they're fighting. There's her two boys. Look how pretty those boys are. Those are, this one I was saying is wormy right here. Those are her boys. She's doing good. I'm just having to keep an eye on her. She's wearing down. But I wormed her. Sorry, let me zoom out. I wormed her day before yesterday, so she'll be fine. I'll keep an eye on her. But back to my coccidiosis, Bill. That is what's fighting this little girl. That's what this little girl gets. And before I started treating it, I would have a lot more that had it. I'm not sure why she has it. With the medicine I'm putting, what I'm about to show you I use, it should have already fixed her. But since it hasn't, I'm going to show you what I use. And that way you can start battling it on your flock if you have it. If right now you're going, oh, that makes so much sense. I have Dolly that looks like that, or I had a whole lamb crop that looks like that. Let me see if I can get where that sun's not blinding everybody. Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Take it up with the union boss. Take it up with your union boss. All right, I'm trying to go slow so I can get over here to where I have the medicines. Okay, for the longest time, I used this first one, and I wrote down the names. I wrote down the names because I can't spell it, pronounce anything to save my life. Shut up, please. I'm not feeding y'all. Is this one right here, and I'm just going to show you what it is. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. It's a horse. It's for horses, and it's this right here. It's a 200 milliliter bottle, and you give 1 milliliter per 5 pounds, and that's why it's not a, well, it was for 2 years. I used it in my lamb crop, and they did wonderful. And so at weaning, I would give them that, and it seemed to take the coccidiosis out of them. But that bottle's around $80, and it did around 40 or 50 lambs. And so yes, it was worth the $80, but this other thing next to it is much better. But I'll explain it in a second. But so how you would do this is, it's just like it smells and has a consistency of white paint, but you just syringe it up, put it down the lamb's throat, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to give her 4 milliliters of that, because I'm going to guess her at about 20 pounds, and that'll take care of her. She'll snap out of it. Okay, but now this is what I do now. Decox, if I'm saying it right, and that's where you get it from. It's that brown stuff, and I put a handful in a 50-pound bag of mineral. I have mineral inside here. This is where I have mineral and baking soda. They probably already ate it all down. Yeah, mineral and baking soda. And so I mix, as I'm pouring a bag of mineral in there, I mix a handful of this in there. Just sprinkle it as I go. You don't want it real thick. but I haven't had any ill effect with putting too much or anything. That's I use about a handful per 50-pound bag. Or you can put a big pinch in their feed for a couple days. Don't do it every day for their whole life, but for a couple days to get them over it. And you'll be able to tell they have it by getting a weepy eye. You can tell they get a weepy eye. A lot of people call it pink eye. It's not pink eye. It'll eventually get glossy. This stuff takes care of that too. It's coccidiosis. A shot of LA 300 or 200 will take care of that eye too in a couple days. But with this, you never have it show up to begin with. So this is not practical for big ones, even for bigger lambs. You have a 50-pound lamb and you're going to be giving it 20 milliliters. I mean, that's like $10 worth of medicine, okay? And so that was just for lambs, like what I'm about to do for that little ewe lamb, okay? But for your herd, put this inside their mineral, and it'll take care of 99.9%. I haven't had to do a lamb. I haven't had to give the lamb this in a year and a half now. And as you can see, I got lots of lambs. That's not a problem. And they all look good. But if you're fighting that is what it is, fighting coccidiosis. And if you don't give them anything for it, they get pitiful. And like I said, some of y'all be on here going, oh, that makes so much sense. I'm not a bad shepherd, because y'all have been fighting it forever and nobody's just explained it to you. Just like I had to learn the hard way. But I hope this is helpful for somebody. If it is, give me a little thumbs up. I watch silver and gold channels all the time when they say that. Subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Y'all have a good day. Goodbye.